Testing 1, 2, 3. Test. Test 2. 1, 2, 3. Test. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Test. Testing.
Test. All right, the time is 5:32. We're gonna get started with the regular meeting of the Adelanto Elementary School District. It is February the 3rd, 2025, and 2026. I'm a year behind. Alrighty, we're gonna do roll call and quorum establishment. We don't have our assistant here with us or our secretary, so I'll take the roll call. Trustee Kraus, Trustee Kyer,
Kyer present.
Trustee LaFrench,
French present.
Trustee Stewart,
Stewart here.
and I am here. We have a quorum. Before we move on to the Pledge of Allegiance, we actually are going to take a 30-minute recess.
10.
10 minutes. I think we could do 10 minutes. 10-minute recess to accommodate one of our trustees to be able to join on Zoom. And so at this time, if we'll go at a 10-minute recess, it's 5:33. We'll come back at 5:44. We are at a recess. Alrighty. The time is 5:43. We're gonna reconvene to open session. We're gonna do the roll call once again and to get a quorum establishment. Trustee Kraus,
Kraus present.
VP Kyer,
Kyer present.
Trustee LaFrench. Trustee Stewart,
Stewart here.
Soto present. We have a quorum. The time is 5:44. We're gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance. VP Kyer, would you lead us, please?
Yes, if I could please have everyone stand and place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Propose additions, deletions, and adjustments in the order of business. I would just like for us to amend the agenda to include Trustee Kraus to ensure that, it's reflected that he is able to join on Zoom.
What is his address?
He is at 11824 Air Expressway, Adelanto, California, 92301, specifically in his vehicle. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? I'll take the vote. Trustee Kraus?
Is
Kraus,
that
aye.
I'm sorry, excuse me, is that a votable thing? When there are amendments or deletions, they're just noted. We've never voted on that.
At this time, I believe we are moving to adopt the agenda with the amendment.
Oh, okay, he just did the proposed additions, deletions.
Yeah, so let me just clarify. Yeah, you're correct. You have a good point, Trustee Stewart. I did jump the horse, but Trustees VP Carr, you are correct on the motion. There are no proposed additions, deletions, and adjustments in the order of business. However, there is an amendment to the adoption of the agenda, which was made by me and seconded by VP Kyer. Is there a second? Or, I'm sorry, there is a second. Is there a discussion? I'll take the vote. Trustee Kraus,
Kraus, aye.
VP Kyer,
Kyer, aye.
Trustee LaFrench,
Nay.
Trustee Stewart,
Nay.
Soto, aye. Motion passes 3-2. Moving on to public testimony. Public comment period for items listed on this agenda item only. Do we have any representatives from ADTA and CSEA? We have none. We'll move on to audience members. We'll start with Ryan Woodard, excuse me. Good evening.
Okay, good evening, all board members and Superintendent Walker. Thank you so much. My name is Ryan Woodard. Pleasure to be here tonight on behalf of Talion Academy. I want to start with a student who had already decided that school wasn't for them. A student who struggled every day in a traditional classroom, academically, emotionally, socially. A student who stopped showing up, not because they didn't care, but because the system stopped working for them. That student came to Talion. And for the first time ever, the school actually worked. But I want you to hear this not from me, but from a parent. A parent recently said, "Before Talion, my child cried every morning. Now they ask when they're working on next, and I finally see my child is finally heard and seen each and every day." That sentence matters because it explains why Talion exists. Talion High Desert Academy is a dashboard alternative school status charter operating primarily as an independent study program, not a traditional site-based school. It was never meant to look like and act like one, and that in terms of California law does not require it to. That is why the legislator created a separate renewal framework under the Education Code 47607C7 to ensure that alternative and independent study charter schools are judged fairly based on the students they serve, not compared to the models that have already failed these students. The district's own report makes important points. First, Talion is governed as a DOS school. Second, and this is crucial, the district explicitly finds that closure is not in the best interest of students and that there is not enough evidence of educational harm. That should have been the end of the analysis, because when the law says that students should not be harmed by disruption, it means real disruption. The kind of disruption that have parents lose sleep over and over, and the students feel it each and every day. Yet the recommendation tonight before you recommends a 2-year renewal, places families right back into the familiar foe, which is uncertainty. And uncertainty is not neutral. For parents who finally found a school that works for their child, a shortened renewal feels like a question hanging in the air. Will we have to start over all again? Concern raised about this instructional models, enrichment, and even service delivery models must
30
be
seconds.
understood in context. Independent study is supposed to be different. Flexibility is not a flaw. Individualization is not a lack of rigor. It is often the only reason these children succeed. The district confirms the facilities are safe, students are being served, and closure would not improve the outcomes. So I ask for you tonight to have a 7-year renewal as it should stand. For many parents, Talion is not just an option. It's a relief, it's hope, and it's their child believing in school again. Please do not make that conditional. We respectfully urge you to pass this as a 7-year renewal on behalf of Talion High Desert Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Kimberly Smith.
Good evening, members of the board and members of the community. I'm speaking tonight as a fellow educator and as a community member who deeply believes that our responsibility is to meet the needs of all students, especially when those needs look different from the traditional model. Not every child learns the same way, just as not every family functions the same way. In the same way that working moms and stay-at-home moms may choose different paths, but share the exact same intent of doing what is best for their children, traditional public schools and charter schools can coexist with mutual respect. The goal is the same: student success. Talion High Desert Academy has been part of our community for over a decade. Through renewals, site visits, public hearings, and thorough review, this process has shown engagement, transparency, and accountability. What stands out to me is that this school exists because there's a group of students and families for whom this model works best. As educators, we know that one size does not fit all. Supporting multiple educational options is not about competition, it's about collaboration and honoring the diverse ways students learn and thrive. I support Talion High Desert Academy as an educator, as a community member, and as someone who believes that when families are given choices aligned with their children's needs, our entire community benefits. Thank you for your time and for your continued commitment to serve all of our students in our area. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Corey Kavanaugh.
Excuse me and good evening, trustees. I am here representing Talion Academy as their back office provider, and I just wanted to comment that every year during the charter's term, they've had a clean financial audit, and current reserves are well above any FICMAT requirements or standards, both on a cash basis and their overall reserves. So I stand here in support of Talion Academy.
Thank you. Next speaker is going to be Regina Jackson.
Good evening, President Soto, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Walker. My name is Reginae Jackson, and I am the Inland Empire Associate Director of Local Advocacy with the Charter Schools Association. I'm here to respectfully express support for the renewal of Talion High Desert Academy and to recommend approval of a 7-year renewal term. Talion is a DOS-serving school, serving students whose progress is best measured through alternative indicators like credit recovery, persistence, graduation progress, and re-engagement. Those measures are appropriate for this school model, and they show that Talion is delivering meaningful outcomes for students today. This is not a low-performing school. A 2-year term does not allow enough time to establish, implement, and create it does not allow enough time to establish, implement, and fairly evaluate appropriate metrics. And it creates instability for students and staff without clear justification. A 7-year renewal provides accountability while also allowing the system to work as intended. Thank you for its consideration and time. I also sent a letter of support earlier today that I hope you had time to review. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Zoom. I believe we got everyone. Just verifying. Yep, we got everyone on Zoom. Moving on to staff reports and presentations. Dr. Walker.
Thank you, President Soto. At this time, we have Educational Services, Ms. Carol Colburn, who will be sharing a presentation on the renewal for Talion.
Hello?
All right. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Walker, President Soto, and members of the board. The Educational Services Division presents our findings of fact and recommendation regarding the charter renewal petition for Talion High Desert Academy. Our goal is to provide a legally compliant and student-centered recommendation. As a dashboard alternative school status, or DAS school, Talion is governed by Education Code 47607C7, which requires us to consider both state indicators and alternative metrics while keeping the best interests of our students as our primary focus. To ensure students continue to have a stable and supportive learning environment, they need to succeed. Our recommendation is designed to provide educational continuity while fostering a stronger, more collaborative partnership with the district. Our comprehensive review was conducted by a multidisciplinary team, including experts in educational services, fiscal, special education, and the Human Resources Division. We followed a rigorous timeline, starting with the petition submission in November, and on November 20th, AESD met with Talion High Desert Academy leadership team for an orientation, followed by site visits in early December and a thorough document review of the renewal petition. Our team conducted site visits to all 3 of the Talion locations, and we were very pleased with what we found. The facilities were exceptionally clean, orderly, and well-maintained, creating a positive and suitable atmosphere for student learning. No health or safety concerns were found, which speaks to the care that Talion takes in providing a safe space for pupils. While the absence of documented mutually agreed upon alternative metrics, which should have been established at the start of the term, initially limited our formal analysis framework, we conducted a comprehensive review of the available evidence that highlights Talion's commitment to a highly individualized instructional model. During our site visits, we observed firsthand the personalized support and one-to-one attention that students receive during progress monitoring sessions, demonstrating a program specifically designed to meet each student where they are. Talion primarily uses high school metrics like graduation and course completion. They have been designated as a comprehensive school improvement or a CSI school year 4 based on the low graduation rate of the California dashboard by the California Department of Education. However, I know that the DAS designation allows them different opportunities in order to meet the CSI designation from the California Department of Education. With the no clear alternative metrics for the kindergarten through 8th grade, we did find it difficult to comprehensively assess progress for those younger students, so we had to solely rely on their progress on the California dashboard. We also noted a heavily online instructional model for elementary and didn't have a lot of finding of enrichment programs for those students. Our review did highlight the consistent implementation of essential student support services across all sites, including a robust attendance monitoring and a proactive engagement practices. We were able to speak with and interview some of the counselors at each of the sites. These efforts play a vital role in maintaining student connectivity and fostering persistence, which are especially critical for success in an alternative educational setting. Our site visits revealed a few concerns in student services area, specifically in special education, where we observed modified IEPs, limited adaptive technology, and a lack of transportation. In addition, for English learners, services rely on virtual instruction without a clearly defined standards-aligned curriculum. These factors may impact the student's ability to eventually reintegrate into a traditional district school. A key component of this renewal is the chance to collaboratively define what success looks like for all of Talion's students. While high school metrics like graduation rates are already a strength, we look forward to working together to create a clear, mutually agreed upon alternative metrics for all grade levels by June of 2026. For context, the property tax allocation to Talion for the 25-26 school year is projected at over $882,000, while the district loses roughly $20,100 per pupil funding for each resident student. We must emphasize that per state law, fiscal impact alone is not a legal basis for denial. Based on legal standards, that closure is not in the best interest of students. The evaluation team does recommend a two-year renewal with some conditions, a path that ensures student stability while empowering the district to provide that high-quality oversight our community expects. This recommendation focuses on the Thrive initiative through increased collaboration, including monthly meetings to share data and best practices. By strengthening district oversight and fostering professional alignment, we ensure that both the district and Talion are strategically positioned to support and improve outcome for students throughout the renewal term. To ensure the success, the following specified conditions were recommended. 1, the charter be renewed for a term of 2 years. Second, that the district and Talion High Desert Academy Charter School shall mutually agree upon explicit alternative renewal metrics appropriate to the student population served no later than June 30th of 2026. The third one is the district and Talion High Desert Academy Charter School shall engage in monthly monitoring meetings focused on academic performance, fiscal health, and operational compliance. And then fourth, the Fiscal Crisis Management Assistance Team, or FINCMAT, Charter School Annual Oversight Checklist shall be utilized as the primary monitoring tool during the renewal term. Looking ahead, our next steps are proactive and collaborative. Following the board's action tonight, February 3rd, 2026, and approval will allow us to immediately begin the joint development of new metrics and schedule our first oversight meetings. We move forward with a shared commitment to student excellence and strengthening our oversight to ensure Talion's students thrive. Thank you, and at this time, we're happy to take any questions.
Thank you. We'll start with Trustee Stewart.
So the board is voting on the recommendations of the district, correct?
Yes, there's an item later
Yes.
on in the agenda for that.
I can't think of any questions right now.
Thank you. Trustee LaFrench. Trustee Kraus.
Yes, thank you, President Soto. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. Thank you, Trustee Kraus.
All right, so I did have some questions, and I appreciate Ms. Colburn's presentation. I guess the first question I have is how much time did the team spend at Talion's sites when they went to do a visit?
Okay, thank you for that question, Trustee Kraus. We spent about an hour to an hour and a half at each of the locations where we were able to really speak with their staff, interview them, and really we're trying to understand more of how they operate, what they offer, and just kind of meet the different employees that our students work with every day.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And then, are you aware of any concerns brought by those staff members, parents, or students about the programs or the operation of Talion as you visited? And I don't know how many people you've talked to, but did you ever hear anyone express any concerns about their operations?
During the site visits, we did not hear any concerns.
Great, thank you. That's all the questions I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. VP Kyer.
Yes, good evening. I appreciate your presentation tonight. I would like to start with maybe some history. Are you able to provide the history behind Talion? Because here on page 6 of your presentation, it says no documentation of mutually agreed upon metrics during first charter term. My understanding, this is not the first charter term. Is that?
So we don't have any matrix that we can use or that has been agreed upon that's documented in any particular place. We have not found anything. And so that's why we are hoping that that's something that we can make sure occurs over the next few months.
Okay. Is there any way to be informed of when that first charter term began?
I'm sure we can research that to get that information, but Talion's here, they could probably tell us right now.
First one was 2013.
2013. And how long was that one for?
Let's see, 5 or 6, and then there was another in 2018. It must have been 5.
Okay.
So that was an additional 5 with COVID. We're now looking at 7. So we've been operating for 7 years without a renewal. So here we are, 7 years in.
Okay. All right. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Jumping down a bit, we went to the timeline. Okay. So it states here on okay, so my understanding is we had to have this available for the community to review somewhere here at the district office. Was that properly done? Did we have it on display somewhere for families to be able to come and review?
I would need to confirm that, but it was, there was a public hearing for an opportunity for review, yes.
Okay, very nice. Okay. just one more. Okay, on page 9, it says the overall amount was 882,646. Does that go for all of their students or just the students that would not be taking part in our K-8 program?
Mr. McAlpin, can you respond to that question?
Sorry, wrong button. That would be, the dollar allocation would be based on the students that are at Talion as a total enrollment, if you will.
Okay, and so my understanding that number doesn't factor in our loss of students. Is that correct? That's just overall, because they're a high school district as well, so they get higher amounts for high school students, is my understanding. We are K through 8, so we want to be eligible for that anyway. Am I comprehending that?
Are you talking about the per ADA amount, maybe?
No, where I'm a little confused is we have the $800,000 number.
Okay.
And you mentioned that that is an over-encompassing of their students. My understanding is that Talion has a high number of high school students. So is that 800 from us, or is that?
Correct, that would be from us.
Oh, okay. President Soto, I will defer to you.
Thank you, BP Kyle, for those questions. So what I'm hearing you say, Mr. McAlpin, is the 882,646,000 property tax allocation. All of that funding is what what Talion is receiving from AESD, because to your point, if AESD is giving that money to Talion, it's because it's the K through 8 students that. I guess the question really is this money that we're seeing in front of us also accounting for the high school students, which we will never, or at this point, do not have governance over high school students because we are a K through 8. So the question is whether this amount is.
Yes, specifically from AESD.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. That was helpful. Thank you. Any other questions, VP Kyer?
I do have one more, if you would be inclined. So on the last, or second to last one, it recommends a 2-year renewal with conditions. Can the district kind of shed light why we went with the 2-year renewal with this charter after they've been operating within our district for, 13 years? 13 years at this point?
I think it speaks directly to the metrics that we were talking about, so that we have an opportunity to, number one, work together to establish the metrics, and then have an opportunity to come back together after a couple of years to see how that is working and how we'd like to move forward.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. The district review process included an evaluation team. Um, it, it, well, I'll just start off by saying I am disappointed by the 2-year renewal recommendation. So what I'm hearing, what I kind of piggyback on the 2-year renewal question, the explanation that I heard was that essentially, since metrics weren't provided by Talion, the district is using metrics from the state, perhaps to articulate that a 2-year renewal to follow. I guess why 2-year versus not 4 or a 7-year renewal, while also being able to address those concerns along the way, is my question. This is along with piggybacking with VP Kyer, but just adding on why 2 not 4, not 7, while also ensuring that whatever the district has concerns about is working with Talion along those as well.
So once again, we're not necessarily using, we haven't determined any specific metrics, but again, it's about finding the right metrics so that we're not going over 7 years and using a metrics that's not either working for Talion the way that it should. And so really it's an opportunity for us to again collaborate because that's something that has not occurred in the past that I'm aware of. And so I think it's important that as a charter and students that are part of our community, that we have an opportunity to engage in dialogue and support so that we're able to assist in ensuring that the students are getting their needs met. And that's all students. They do a great job with meeting the needs of their high school students. However, being able to provide the support in determining metrics for the elementary and middle would be a clear focus for us. And yes, I'll end with that.
President Soto, when you have an opportunity, sir.
Trustee Kraus?
Yes, thank you. I would like to piggyback on the comments just made. I started in the district in 2020 as the CBO and then became interim superintendent and superintendent. During that time, I actually visited Talion many, many times. I've talked to their staff, to their parents, to their students. There was plenty of collaboration. I looked at their LCAP. I looked at their metrics. I looked at everything that they had at the time. And there were never any concerns over the last 4 years related to Talion whatsoever. If there were, I would have brought them to the board's attention at that time, or I would have had concerns with them at that time. So there has been many, many opportunities to collaborate with Talion. Now, this past year, it's my understanding, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, they've invited the superintendent out to all of their sites, and the superintendent has never visited any of their sites. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but also the team that is currently recommending the 2-year has absolutely zero experience in charter petition renewal. Not one person has ever been involved at the high level, assistant superintendent or superintendent level, with a charter petition renewal. And furthermore, our legal counsel with Atkinson Annelson, who has always been involved in the charter school petition renewal process, was never consulted with any of these documents, with any of the recommendations, any of the presentations. And I can promise you that if she had, she would probably advise the board, this is not the way to go. So I just want to put it on record and make sure that it's clear. When I was superintendent, I visited Talion. I even spoke at their graduation. That's how much of a collaboration we had with Talion when I was in the district. And so with that, I'll end my comments. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Trustee Stewart, did you want to make a comment?
Well, I was under the impression that this was a time for questions and that we would have discussion when we actually vote on the item. So is this a time for discussion as well?
Fair point. This is a time for questions.
Because he just said a whole bunch.
Yeah, fair point. Trustee Kraus, we're doing questions, but thank you for sharing. Thank you, Trustee Stewart. Dr. Walker?
Thank you. I believe that I'm going to just start with AALRR, that the board voted to not continue a contract with AALRR. Therefore, for me to go to them and try to get advice from them, that there would have been some degree of reprimand, as it has been in the past when I did reach out to them for support. So it's odd that it's been stated that I did not reach out to them, but we don't have a contract with them, and the board did not approve a contract with them per previous communications. Secondly, I would say that it's great that, as the previous superintendent, that had an opportunity to visit and to engage in conversations and dialogue with the Talion community. I think that's great that that happened. And I'm not saying that that's not something that should occur. However, I would also say that there have been opportunities where I think we have to collaborate. Visiting the school and having an opportunity to speak to the the teachers, the community, but coming together as thought partners to support one another with the students that we serve is just as critical. And for me, I think that's a piece that I'm not aware exists. And per what I just heard, that's not something that actually happened during that time as well. Um, in reference to being invited to come and, um, I'm not going to respond to that because um, I'm sure Talion knows and I know what communication has occurred between the principal and myself. And therefore, that statement is not going to be dignified with a response. And so I hope that that Talion once again knows that at no point is my team or the committee that put this together is trying to do anything to negatively impact the charter school. We are quite aware that you've been in existence for quite a number of years. And in no way are we saying that this is not going to continue. What we're saying is that we like an opportunity to collaborate, to come up with metrics so that we can move forward and support the students that we serve. And with that, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Walker. And alrighty, well, I'll conclude my questions for now. Now we should be able, on the agenda, should have,
They want to respond
yes,
to the
yes.
presentation.
So I don't have, yeah, so I like to always have things in front of me, but yeah, so you guys are able to come up and respond. If you guys have a report that you'd like to share to the public and to the board, that this is your time as well. And anything that you believe would be helpful to the board.
And thank you, Ms. Colburn, for presenting.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Colburn.
So we have presented in a previous board meeting, December 9th. There were additional comments made in this new report of fact findings from the district, so we wanted to make sure that we address those this time around. And there are people in person and online that will be a part of this presentation. And I know that we've got one person handling everything, so we're going to be patient with that and just make sure the right people are available at the right time. So just starting out, I'm Brenda Congo. I'm the principal of Talion High Desert Academy. I've been with the school coming on 9 years in November. So this is a school and work that I love, and I love working with all the students and staff that I get to. So I just wanted to start out regarding the metrics. Those are established first year of renewal, regardless of the number of years. We'll have to talk about that. And nonetheless, we're responsible to the state, the county, and the district for sharing those reports and everything that we do to stay compliant. We do that all the time. And I just do also want to point out that We exist because we're different. You know, we can't be too similar to the school district, which is great, but you know, we have to be different for kids that need a different sort of education, and that's why we're here. So on the first slide, oh, I have the clicker. See, I'm never good at this part. I apologize. Okay, thank you so much. All right, so we are accredited by WASC, which is the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, for when our high school kids need to go to any university in the state or elsewhere. Our classes mean that they get to enroll without a problem. They're accepted based on the classes they take at Talion. And we're also accredited by Cognia, which is an international organization. So both organizations are independent. They have rigorous standards for quality and educational improvement, continuous improvement that we also abide by. So we meet with them based on whatever term they give us, 6 years, and then we make sure that we meet with them, that we provide similar reports like we did the petition to the school district. Lastly, again, I know it's talked about, but we can't talk about it enough. We are a dashboard alternative school status school. So this indicates that we do service students that are at risk. At least 70% of them are, more than that. And our DOS graduation rate is above 90%, has been for the past, I'd say, 3, 4, 5 years. But that allows us to showcase the students that do come to us when we get them, however we get them from the surrounding schools. That is not something within our control, but we meet them where they're at and we get them to graduate. Let's see, and I also do want to mention that California has a dashboard where you can see all the schools' metrics or indicators on there. And us being an independent studies charter school, we are pretty toe-to-toe with Adelanto Elementary School District in those indicators. So I will just say that. We're doing pretty good with what we have and the staff that we have and the amazing students that trust us. And those are K through 12 metrics. Okay? All right. Let's see. Oops. There we go. So just a reminder, the students that we service, and I know we talk a lot about our high schoolers, but we really want to focus on our elementary kids, but we do service TK through 5th grades, elementary, middle school 6 through 8, and high school 9 through 12. We are even a part of WIOA, the Workforce Initiative and Opportunity Act. We collaborate with Desert Mountain Charter SELPA. They send us students that need to get their diploma that are out of high school, but up to 24 years old. And we make sure that they're able to graduate and be successful members of the community again. Let's see who's next. Oh no. All right, so I've got online Kate Greer that is going to speak to this portion. So again, really focusing on our K through 8 progress and assessments, and then she's also going to speak to those extended learning opportunities.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. I'm Kate Greer, I'm our Student Success and Engagement Coordinator. I have the opportunity to work with our wonderful teachers and students on a daily basis. I just want to go over with you guys our K-8 assessments and resources that we use to monitor student growth throughout the school year. So one of our programs is Edmentum. This is a tool we use to give students diagnostic assessments 3 times a year, beginning, middle, and end, to review their English language arts, reading, and math knowledge. We're able to monitor their progress throughout the school year. Based on the results, the program creates individualized learning paths. So wherever they need targeted specific support, they're going to get it in those very personalized areas. So it's a tool for intervention. And then teachers can also push out specific lessons. So let's say you're working on fractions and a student needs extra support in that area. A teacher can identify that and provide them support through this tool. Teachers also they teach live lessons with students. If you are K-3, you do it daily. If you are fourth or fifth grade, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, you meet with your teacher twice a week in 2-hour blocks. During that time, teachers, they collaborate and they create units for the students based off essential standards that are Common Core aligned. And each unit, we give students pre and post assessments through Study Island. This helps us wonder how much knowledge are they coming in with? And then after the unit, how much have they mastered? Do we need to go back and reteach, or are we ready to move on to something new? So we are able to monitor that for each unit, as well as throughout the school year. UFly is a specific phonics program. We use this for our TK through third grade students, and it really helps give them those reading foundational skills that the kids need in order to be successful in school and throughout life, really. So teachers provide live lessons in class. There's also additional resources if parents want to do extra work with their kids at home that teachers can provide them with. Teachers do meet with parents live, either phone call or through a Google Meet similar to this, bi-weekly. So they check in, how's your child doing? Where are they doing great? Do they need a little extra attention? Areas for support, review assessments, review diagnostics, and just a chance for parents and teachers to connect and make sure that the students are progressing. And then K-2 students also work on multitudes. So multitudes, it's a reader screener that identifies students' unique strengths and growth areas for their reading foundational skills. So this is a great opportunity for us to flag or mark students. Hey, if this student needs extra support, how can we give it to them? And we have next steps of here's exactly how we're going to give them those supports. So if we go to the next slide, one of those, we have MTSS interventions, and all students participate in what we call Thrive Time. So this is when students meet with their teacher during those live instructional time. The time's kind of split into 2 blocks. So that first block, let's check in on your progress, how your class is going, where do you need some extra support? And then the second block, students are split into differentiated groups. And this is where they're really, really given that targeted support. So if your teacher has noticed you're doing, or you assess poorly on your assessments, and it's also correlated to your schoolwork, and there's certain areas where you need that extra support, they're going to get it during this Thrive Time. So they really are given targeted instruction based on their needs. For enrichment opportunities, we do offer them times to come in and socialize. They have the option to do it either online or in person. So we have lots of wonderful clubs. The kids love these. We have art club, STEM, Lego, robotics. They just love them. They love interacting. They love getting their hands on things. So those are great opportunities we provide them. And then we also have tutoring and study hall support. So if they need extra academic support outside of what they're already getting with their teachers, we do offer this daily. So there's a specific time they know they can just jump on and get that extra support. And then lastly, we do hold a lot of events throughout the school year. So we have lots of field trips that students have the opportunity to participate in. We hold events on campus, some of them the Cultural World Fair. You bring your families, you come, we have different booths that explore cultures throughout the world with games and activities and foods, and just a nice community engagement. Black History Celebration is a similar event where we have different activities. Come hang out, we recognize achievements and contributions. And then Back to School Night, that's an annual tradition every year. We make it fun, we turn it into like a fall festival type thing. We have different games and booths. So we do encourage families to come on campus and socialize and hang out while also offering them lots of enrichment and intervention supports. Thank you.
All right, next up online, we have Karen Ruffner.
Okay, hi everybody. I am so grateful to be here. My name is Karen Ruffner. I've been here since 2014 in various roles, and I feel so honored to be able to share with you our EL program. As you can see here, the dashboard is showing that we have made great strides with our EL, our English learner progress. The increase is 11.9%, and the overall making of progress is 51.4%. we're very happy with the work that our team is doing. We have a coordinator plus 2 supports who work with the students weekly. They get together for between 45 to 60 minutes, Monday through Thursday. And the groups are very small. They can be individualized, or they can be a maximum group would be 6 in a group of third graders is one of her largest groups. And they meet both on site, so they have that interaction in person, but they also serve our online and our homeschool population in a very Google Meets and a very personal way each week. So our supports that we use, our resources, she works very closely with Bright Thinkers, which is the curriculum that we're using. And Bright Thinkers is a strong curriculum. It's A through G approved, but it's also for all the TK through 12. And this a fully customizable curriculum. So therefore, there's translation opportunities, interactive animations for reading comprehension. There's also audiovisual components. So that's for students who are struggling more with the written language. And there's other ELD instructional strategies. It's completely ELD aligned. She also works on giving brain breaks for students because it's sometimes easier to support a student, so the younger kids, with some kind of games, activities, icebreakers, online puzzles, as well as with the older students that she works with. And a lot of her time she devotes to the LPAC support. She will start with practice tests, which has worked beautifully in that you can see it here on the dashboard, the LPAC summative results from last year. We also want to address the work that she does with our LTEL and RFEB students. She and the team are very goal-oriented in how they want to support the long-term learners. She has goals such as building confidence with complete sentences and academic vocabulary. So they're able to speak with each other in a more confident way and a more conversational way. She is very mindful of writing, so she'll work closely with them, and they're in a Bright Thinker a lot as well with different paragraph structures, choosing certain words that would be good replacements for other words so they could have more of a extended vocabulary, working with the complete sentences rather than one word. She just, it depends. They very much focus on the grade level and the age of their EL students. And then also she does a superb job, all of the team does, with the reclassified check-in. Every November, she will email the teachers and get feedback from the teachers and request samples of their English to be compared with also samples from other students of the same class and the same grade, so she can compare to make sure that they're staying up to the standard that she'd like and they'd like. And then she has this scheduled for March. So she's very on top of that. And in conclusion, I just want to say we are very confident that we are fully compliant with the ELD developments, the standards and the expectations. And we are very enthusiastic about devoting ourselves to all our English language learners at Talion. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. Oh,
Good evening.
My name is Karen Ware. I'm the Special Education Coordinator at Talion. So we have special education services and compliance. Our IEP individualized supports are fully individualized and documented in SACE and ensure consistency and compliance under the IDEA and SELPA guidelines. Anything that Desert Mountain SELPA does not provide for our students, as far as their services are provided, we use an MPA and we provide those services for our students. Modifications and accommodations are added throughout the IEP based on ongoing data for each student's unique needs. IEP teams meet regularly to review progress and make timely data-driven adjustments. We meet as a group weekly. I meet with my case managers weekly. We also meet with the general education teacher for each person on the student's IEP team. We meet regularly as well, at least monthly or biweekly. We use Bright Thinkers for our students, but we also offer accommodated courses, just like in an RSP classroom for our students. We use unique learning systems. That is for our mod severe students. So that way, instead of them getting a certificate of completion, they're able to get a high school diploma, and it's based off the Common Core standards for our students. We have assistive technology. It's provided according to their IEP requirements. So that's AAC devices, text-to-speech, speak-to-text, word prediction, and audiobooks. Staff support families with setup and ongoing use of adaptive tools as well. So we do have different things for our parents just to teach them how to use the devices and different things as well as our team. Next slide. Sorry about that. There's me. All right, transition support for incoming and exiting students. Students transitioning into Talion, we take their IEP, we adopt it, and then whatever services that are in their IEP will be modified slightly, but they will still receive their speech, OT, vision services, anything that's aligned with that. Parent choice for instruction. So we are a parent choice school. We give parents different options that they wouldn't get in a brick and mortar. Even though you might say, oh, we don't spend as much time, but the time that we are spending is individualized for each person's needs. And also for our students, we have different socializing activities. We have student council for them. They go on different field trips, college field trips, YOA, community outreach events, and different things like that. So just for me personally, I think that this is a good place for students. It gives them a different opportunity, a different outlook of their education. Thank you.
All right, online we have Lee Rosenberg.
You are unmuted. You may continue.
Can you hear me, trustees?
Yes, we can.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a former middle school educator, but I'm speaking to you tonight as a lawyer for charter schools all across the state, high quality charter schools. And I'm proud to count Talion as one of those charter schools that I work with. I want to address head on this issue, this recommendation for a 2-year renewal term. This is simply not indicated under the law for a DOS charter school like Talion. The law does have a 2-year renewal option that it reserves specifically for low-performing charter schools. This is under the state law. This is 47607.2a. There is, contrary to what I think has been suggested, there are no state guidelines at all that would recommend a 2-year charter renewal term for a DOS charter like Talion. Talion's never been classified by the California Department of Education as a low-performing charter school. Again, it's classified as a DOS school, and the 2-year renewal framework just does not apply at all. Ultimately, it is this district board that has the discretion to approve the renewal term requested in the charter petition. And there are all sorts of good reasons for approving a 7-year term. We've identified those in the petition, where we are a stable charter school that is fiscally sound, that is demonstrating value for students. A 7-year renewal term will mean that the school can focus its resources over the next 7 years on serving students rather than repetitive and back-to-back renewal season and sessions. And the same thing is true for the district. The district can focus on its students instead of going through multiple renewal seasons, again, back to back. Next slide, please. With respect to the petition itself, the law is also very clear on what the guidelines are, what the standards are for evaluating a charter petition at renewal. I believe that part of the basis for the 2-year recommendation was a misunderstanding of those very standards. All that the law requires is a reasonably comprehensive description of the educational program in 15 specific areas. This is right in the law. The law does not require an exhaustive description of all operations. There was a number of criticisms in the staff report suggesting that certain areas of curriculum, SPED operations, EL operations, were not spelled out. Again, the charter petition is not an operating manual. It is a general roadmap for how the charter school will operate in general. There was criticism in the petition, for example, over alleged lack of goals and measurable outcomes. Those were fully incorporated in the petition through the LCAP that was attached to the petition. There was a criticism, for example, that the petition did not address its high school credit transfers. That was addressed within the petition itself. We fully believe, and as somebody who reviews tens and hundreds of charter petitions, I can confirm that the petition is very much reasonably comprehensive. The district staff report also says that they relied on a matrix by FCMAT. This matrix was never adopted by the board as its evaluative tool or as the board's own standards. I note that the matrix is not attached to the findings at all. It's not a set of legally binding standards, and it just can't be used to have any kind of bearing on this process, and specifically on the charter school being entitled to only a 2-year renewal. Again, as a DOS school, comparing Talion with a traditional K-8 program is just not the correct evaluative lens. The law is very clear in putting a DOS school like Talion in its own evaluative bucket, and the district's use of metrics that are applicable to non-DOS schools is not appropriate for this renewal. Further to these issues around the evaluation of the petition, I note that, and I heard earlier some question as to whether the metrics should have been set at the very beginning of this charter school's existence. What I want to note is that this requirement to set metrics, to meet and to set them, came into law with AB 1505, and that was in late 2019, early 2020. So this requirement to meet with the charter, with the administration, and to mutually work together on standards, that has been in the law over this current term, and that was an obligation that existed for this particular term. Our experience in the renewal process was that staff did not engage with Talion personnel last year heading up to this renewal process. Instead, in contrast, Talion had significant communication with the district. We reached out with a letter proposing alternative metrics that were aligned to who we are as a DOS school, and that communication was not met with a serious or substantive response. I note that the school has consistently offered the opportunity for site visits to work together collaboratively, but ultimately the district based much of its criticisms on observations during a very brief visit that did not provide a fair or accurate basis for evaluating the charter school's eligibility for renewal. Again, the law sets out what those standards are, what needs to be in those 15 elements, how those alternative metrics are evaluated, and the district site visits did not form any basis for recommendation that the school is only eligible for a 2-year renewal. I also note it's been suggested that the great personalization of the educational program presents concerns around whether the program is fully standards aligned. I note that this school is an independent study model. This means that under the law, Talion is required to personalize learning for each student. That's a positive, not a negative. The fact that curriculum is personalized does not in any way mean that curriculum is not research-based or standards aligned, as the staff report and presentation suggest. To the contrary, all curriculum, including English learner development curriculum, it is research-based and standards aligned. And if there had been a conversation on that issue before the staff report was published, the district would have had that information before making that statement. As another example of statements made without basis, the district has suggested again that there would need to be some kind of ELD standards aligned curriculum specifically for ELD that may be based in something like a textbook or formal commercial materials. But there's no legal requirement for a very distinct standalone ELD textbook. The ELD program under the law may be shaped based on what is necessary to meet those students' individual needs, and as an independent studies school with a robust description in its charter petition for how it provides designated and integrated ELD services, the charter petition very much meets the mark on providing a high quality ELD program. I note that the district acknowledged in its presentation that fiscal impact cannot be considered as part of a charter renewal petition. This is part of the law that came into effect with AB 1505 in 2019. But I am concerned that the inclusion of this information is misleading and maybe misunderstood, where the district is citing in lieu of property tax transfers that the district is providing and over to the charter school. This suggests that the district is sustaining that as a loss out of pocket, and that's just not the case. The district is a LCFF district, meaning that any delta between local property tax revenues and the per student funding rate that districts are entitled to, that the state makes the district whole through the state aid payments. The state sets a per student amount, and the district's payments to the state ensures that the district receives that amount for each student that the district serves. So Talion does not have any kind of negative fiscal impact on the district of any kind. I note that that Talion provides 1% of its revenue to the district for all students, not just the students that are residents of the district. And again, the vast majority of Talion students are not district students, and so the Talion's operation certainly provides a net positive for the district, even on a financial basis. And further, because Talion serves non-traditional students who are unlikely to enroll in traditional students, Talion does not take away students who would otherwise be attending the school district as a traditional student. Thank you. I believe that's my last slide.
Thank you.
Board, I just want to say thank you to the trustees and to Superintendent Walker for allowing us to come and share with you a lot of the good things that are happening at Talion. Specifically, we are happy to be able to share with you how we are rooted in strong educational practices and that our students are receiving what they need educationally, and specifically that our students are also able to receive education in an environment that works for them personally. Not all students are able to be successful in the same environment, and that's why charter schools and specifically non-classroom schools exist to allow families to make that choice so their students can best be served. We are again grateful to the Board of Trustees for the opportunity, and we will say that we really hope to develop a relationship with district superintendent and staff where they will come and spend time with us and visit with us. We have had that experience in the past with other superintendents, and we have always, when a new superintendent has come, and we've seen many of them over the 13 years, we have always invited them to come and spend time with us and get to know our staff, understand what we're doing for our students, because we're really proud of it. So we will continue to make that invitation and hope that staff will come and visit with us. I would ask that the board make a motion to approve our renewal petition for the 7 years as we have asked. We will gladly work with staff and district personnel in any way that they would like to collaborate with us. We've always been open to that and look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Open up for questions. Trustee Stewart.
I have no questions.
Trustee LaFrench.
I have no questions at this time. I'm waiting for us to have open discussion.
Yeah.
VP.
Oh, you know what? Let me ask one question, because then when the discussion, they may not know the answer. Can you tell me how many of our students actually attend Talion that would come to us?
Yes, in the report, it's documented 47 students, and I will tell you that not all of those students come directly from AESD. They may have been at another school, a county school, another charter, and then they come to us. Right. Or if they're residents of Adelanto, they may be high school students that we service as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Trustee Kraus?
No questions this time. Thank you, President Soto.
VP Kyer?
I have no questions. I do want to appreciate your guys' presentation and bringing the further information to the board.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for being here. I don't have any questions. So, thank you. All right, moving on to new business. Educational Services, approval of the Talion High Desert Academy Charter School Renewal Petition. At this time, trustees, I'll entertain a motion.
Well, sign motion, President Soto, to amend the recommendation to 5 years renewal.
Is there a second?
Left French, I second.
I'll open it up for discussion. Trustee Kraus, since you moved on the motion.
Yes, thank you, President Soto. And first, I want to say thank you to the district staff for their diligence in preparing all the information for the board, and also thank Talion for their participation in their presentation this evening. I think it's very well presented. Like I said earlier, I have visited them and I've talked to them. They are serve our students, our families in Adelanto, students that possibly would not do well in a traditional setting. I've talked to many families who have said, no, there's no way my child would benefit from a traditional school setting. So hypothetically, if we were to bring those 47 students back, they probably or may not be that we're looking at. And so that's one of my thoughts on this. But also, I wanted to make it clear earlier last week, for the record, a staff member went on the California Department of Education website and took a screenshot of the California School Directory. It's like the yellow pages for California schools. Every school is on there, including Talion. But because Talion falls under the Adelanto Elementary School District charter, we oversee them. The superintendent is always listed as the contact person on that directory. It's the yellow pages, but it has not been updated since I left the district as superintendent. And so my name was on there as the contact person, but it was presented to the district as if I worked for Talion and that there was a conflict of interest. And I want to make it absolutely positively clear this evening. I've never worked for Talion. I have no financial interest in any of their operations. They can verify this, and anyone else that wishes to. So I wanted to make it clear there is no perceived or any other conflict of interest with Talion and myself. I think it's absolutely absurd that somebody would try to use that to leverage this decision this evening. Again, it reeks of interference behind the scenes, but nonetheless, here we are, and I wanted to make that statement. And Talion can also back me up on that. My interest is our families in Adelanto. Talion's families are our families. Talion students are our students. And so, as stated earlier, they present an alternative program that is able to offer those students a pathway to success that maybe our district cannot. And so the fiscal impact that was stated earlier as well, the 800,000 or whatever the number is, I do apologize, I don't have it. All charter schools do take out, do get in lieu of taxes. We have other charter schools that take students from our district. If we're going to look at Talion, perhaps we need to look at Desert Trails and how much money that we bleed to Desert Trails, or how much money we bleed to Excelsior, who's over at our Shepherd Middle School, our old Shepherd Middle School on the George Air Force Base. Those are examples of other charters that potentially are taking our students and educating them there at their institutions. And then we lose those students from ADA. And so if we're going to talk about one school with the money or one site, we really need to bring into consideration these other schools as well. But I haven't heard anybody say anything about them this evening. But unfortunately, they do as well use in lieu of taxes. So Anyway, I do appreciate the information presented this evening. And again, I think that 2 years is not enough time. They've been renewed over and over again if you go back to their last renewal without any situational conditions or anything else. They've been in business since, I believe, 2013. And I just don't believe that an organization like that is going to jeopardize their accreditation with WASC, their standing in the community by going downhill. It just doesn't make sense on the surface. And I've been in education for 25 years, and I do think I have a little bit of experience, I'd say, being a CBO and a superintendent in assessing charter schools. I was part of two major charter school petitions in the state of California, intimately involved in their renewals and their process. And so I have a vast experience, unlike other people that are making this recommendation of 2 years. So again, it is my recommendation, President Soto and board, that I amend the motion to 5 years and allow the district and Talion time to collaborate, communicate, and figure out a better path moving forward where the district can feel better about the work that Talion's doing. So thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Stewart, since you made the second the motion.
I believe Love French
Oh,
seconded the motion.
that's correct. I apologize. Trustee LaFrench.
Okay, so here we sit.
Mike.
The mic keeper. Here we sit with this decision, right? As I think about having an alternative for students, it's very important that, especially in the high desert, it's very important that students have another place to go to. Everyone is not a cookie cutter that is going to go to a traditional school, whether you are in TK, kindergarten, or in the 12th grade. Especially sometimes for our high school students, they really need some place to go. Your location here in our school district is a perfect location to be able to catch on both sides, and for the children that are not in that cookie cutter, they need individualized structure. You may not have a traditional classroom where you're going in there from 8 to 3 or whatever the case may be, but to have students that want to come there, that get up in the morning and desire to want to come to school, that's the most important thing to me. To me, it's them wanting to be there, having teachers there that want to be there and carrying it on, that they want to go on and move on to college. I also wanted to talk about, let me see, accountability, right? Accountability is the bridge that we have between us and you, right? And if the accountability part does not fall solely on you, it's on us as well. So I do think that 7 years is a long term, right? A long time. I think 5 years is a perfect fit to be able to have that bridge and that accountability. There has been change in our district, and to be able to have that collaboration with each other and to be able to show this matrix, or, I don't claim to know everything, but I do know that for students, that's what I'm here for. And I know that it's important for them to be able to feel safe, to go someplace, to be able to have people there that support them. And if you guys weren't supporting them, they wouldn't be there and their parents wouldn't be there. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for your presentations. I think that, I'm going to be able to get up and recite some stuff about Talion next board meeting, because we've had so many different presentations. And I thank everybody for, taking the time out to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee LaFrench. Trustee Stewart.
So when I came onto the board, and I went to CSB BBA, and you still hear it with board members from other districts, the board members want all charters gone. They want them gone. They're a threat to the district. They're taking our kids and such and such. Me, as I work at a charter school, that side of me says, well, if you guys had been doing your jobs, we wouldn't need charters. But most districts can't wait to get rid of them, and they get rid of them with no cause. They find the slightest excuse. We have a district here that wants to work with you. They want to work because we are accountable for your charter. We have to vote. We are accountable. And then here you have a district and a superintendent who does want to work, and she wants to establish this matrix which protects the district and yourself, because then it's saying, well, we've met these. I don't think the district is going to come in and say you have to do it our way. I really don't believe that, because you are on an alternative program. And I didn't see a thing wrong with the two-year, because it's just establishing it. But who's to say that it will just be two years? There's no guarantee that it would always be two years. But the five-year I am fine with, and I don't see anything wrong with us working together, the district and the charter, because that would help the district learn the charter end, so they understand, and then the district can say, yeah, they're servicing our children, and then we could show of other districts how we can work together, because yeah, our kids are your kids. Not all kids fit the same plan, and I get that, but let's work together. So and I think from now we'll have time to work and observe more than what was said, an hour and a half. Now we have a chance to work. The district, I say us, though I'm not really doing the work, but you get it, right? And I think in the end, we want what's best for the kids, so that they can go on to be successful. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Stewart. VP Kyer.
Good evening, everyone. I want to take a moment and say thank you to both our staff and Talion staff for being here, enlightening us, and bringing us together to make this decision. Although I'm a bit disappointed that it won't be 7 years proposed and that it is a 5-year proposed, I do want to emphasize how important it is to our community to share the bond and share the collaboration we have had in 13 years. I do look forward to more years than that collaborating with Talion. As it has been stated, students are not cookie cutters, and not all students that go to charters are falling behind. Some want to get forward. Ironically, I graduated from a charter early because that was my motive. President Soto as well. It makes sense to have those options for our students, for our communities, for our parents. I think it really sets a standard to give those students with different pathways those opportunities. I want to thank Talion for giving our community that for the last 13 years. I do look forward to you guys being here many more, as we are short on high schools in this part of town. And being able to have that opportunity where you don't have to sit on a bus for so long is probably really appreciated by a lot of your students, right? So with that, I will close my comments tonight, and I do look forward to our vote.
Thank you, VP Geyer. So I just want to be pretty clear about my stance when it comes to charter schools. I attended both public and charter schools here in Alonso and Victorville. And I attended Encore, which we all know, or those that are aware in the community, it was a really good school. I actually really like it. It's a charter school, and that was closed down. And so I'm very mindful as well of the kind of demeanor, the kind of challenges that charter schools go through, and sometimes result, in charter schools shutting down. They don't meet those requirements. So I come from that aspect as well. And as VP Kyer had mentioned, I did graduate from a charter school. So in that aspect, as my colleagues are also sharing, not everyone is cookie cutter is the word that they're saying is being said. And that's exactly that example. I couldn't find, after I finished Encore Middle School, I couldn't find my place. So I went to school, I went to different school, University Prep, another charter school, didn't find my place. And then I inquired about the charter school next to the Stater Brothers, which is I think AV Learning Academy. They may have changed the name, but I inquired and they shared with me that there was a 15-year-old student who graduated high school at 15. So I was like, I want to try that. I want to do that. They didn't let me in university prep. The earliest they allowed me was 1 year. So I transferred schools. I went to a charter school and I graduated high school in 2.5 years, half of the 4 years. I just share that to remind the public that I do support alternative schooling. There are instances in which charter schools are more beneficial than harmful to communities. However, I am mindful of the challenges. So I just want to share that story about the possibilities of charter schools helping low income minority groups, families, which I come from, to be able to accomplish something. I don't think that I would have been able to be in this position if I didn't get a head start in life. That's what really helped me out, is getting a head start in life. And so, yeah, it's unfortunate. The recommended is 2 years, but let's move forward on the motion. Any other last comments, trustees?
Pres- President Soto,
Trustee Kraus.
if I wish to change my first motion, would that be a substitute motion or amended motion if I decided to do that, sir?
So you would you would, if you're just adding or changing a few words of the motion, you're amending it. If you're going to change the complete motion that you've proposed, you'll be substituting that motion.
So if I want to change the year recommendation,
You would
would I?
amend.
All
Okay.
right, sir. All right, sir. I would like to amend my original motion from 5 years to 7 years approval.
Okay, there's an amendment by Trustee Kraus to approve for 7 years. Is there a second?
Kyer, I'll second.
All right, we'll open it up for discussion. Trustee Kraus, since you made the amendment, we're going back to discussion.
Yes, thank you. I have no discussion. I just, the more I chew on it and think about it, they've been here for so long, and I hope that they're here a lot longer. But I also hope that they have an opportunity to work with our district staff. And I'm going on basing my recommendation on the hope that Taleon's administration will reach out to the district's administration and start whatever process of assessment of the metrics, what have you there. And I believe they will. I believe that we can work collaboratively together to benefit all of our families in the high desert, the students that attend Taleon. And so, again, it is my hope that Taleon's administration will be proactive and work with the district's administration as well to meet whatever conditions. And I would like to also suggest that at some point in the future, we get an update at a future board meeting on that progress and not wait for 2, 5, 7 years, but perhaps sometime this year, if the board's okay with that, an update on the progress and the collaboration that hopefully would take place. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? I'll just share. I actually like Trustee Cross your original motion of the 5 years. Um, yeah, I mean,
Are we gonna get to do a
oh,
comment?
yeah, okay, Trustee Stewart.
I felt five years was reasonable. You know, the typical charter renewal is 5 years. I personally feel, and this is my personal, that the change in the amendment is something of a personal nature, and I just think we need to be practical here. There's nothing wrong with the district's oversight of a charter. The district is accountable. It's the responsibility of the district. I 5 years I don't think is incredibly out of reach.
Thank you, Trustee LaFrench.
Okay. So here we go once again. Thank you. Here we go once again, where the feeling of the changing of the vote, I'm just not quite understanding. You know, it was something that, and I don't want to say, hey, Michael, what was the changing point for you for the 5 to 7? I do think that the 5 year would be a standard. I don't know why it changed to 7. I too myself feel as if that the 5 years is just fine. Talion is someone that we want in our community. We want to. We've already um, talked about that. That they are definitely an asset to our students and other students that aren't our students. I'm just not clear on why it would change from 5 to 7 in such a short period of time. That's all. I'm quite fine with the 5 years, agreed upon it, and think that, that um, I don't understand it. I guess I don't have a question.
Thank you.
President Soto, if I may.
All right, Trustee Kraus.
Yes, in lieu of the discussion just had, what I don't want to see happen is the renewal get denied, because that's obviously not good for all parties involved. And so it appears on the surface that my amended motion would potentially die. And that's what I do not want, because then the petition itself presented would probably die. And I don't know what the recourse would be if that happened. So is there a way to go back to my original motion, which seems to have more support to possibly pass of the 5 years?
Thank, thank you, Trustee Kraus. You have a very good point. Yes. And and so, I guess what in my view, and the board can chime in. In my view, we would take the vote, and if that substitute motion dies, then it goes to the original motion. Is my understanding. If colleagues you want to chime in and correct me, but we have a substitute motion. I'm sorry, we have an amendment motion. That amendment motion.
We didn't vote the first time either. Can we go back to amend? We didn't vote on it the first time.
All right,
Before it was amended again.
Yeah, so it was amended for 7 years by Trustee Kraus. And then second by Trustee Carr. We haven't had the vote yet. What we can do is take the vote. And you have a point, I just so I'm clear on the record, I wasn't ready to move forward with the 7-year renewal. I had a lot of questions about what was presented to me, and that has really nothing to do with Talion. It may correlate in terms of some of the questions I have, but again, I think that there's a lot of things that were not within the board's control about this process that just didn't make me feel comfortable moving forward 7 years. So, that's my recommendation is that,
Point of order.
sure, Trustee VP Kyer.
Upon review, the vote on the amendment, if the motion dies, then it reverts back to the original motion. So we would need to vote on the amended motion first. And if that were to die, then it would resort back to the original motion on the table. Thank you.
Thank you, VP Kyer, for verifying. So we'll take the vote, Trustee Kraus, on the 7-year renewal. And if that dies, like VP Kyer verified, and I have been explaining, we'll go back to the original motion. Any other
Understood.
comment? Okay.
Thank
you. Thank you, Trustee Kraus. All right, we'll take the vote. Trustee Kraus?
Kraus, nay.
Trustee Kyer?
Kyer, aye.
Trustee LaFrench?
Nay.
Trustee Stewart?
Nay.
Soto, nay. Motion passes, or motion fails 4-1. It reverts back to the original motion, 5 years of the renewal petition for Talion. We'll take the vote if we don't have any more discussion. Trustee Kraus?
Kraus, aye.
Trustee Kyer? Or, I'm sorry, VP Kyer?
Aye.
Trustee LaFrench?
Aye.
Trustee Stewart?
Aye.
Soto, aye. Motion passes 5-0. Talion High Desert Academy Charter School Renewal has been approved by the board for 5 years. All right, moving on to number 6. I really wanted to pull this because I didn't have the chance to review the agenda. It's my understanding during special board meetings, we don't have reports and governing announcements on here. So if I had the time, I would have given a heads up. But if the majority of the board is willing to move along, that's what I'm, as a facilitator of the meeting, I'd like for us to just be done already. If that's okay with the board, we can report next week, in my view. Let's just, yeah. What do you guys think? Okay. No.
I would call it out per trustee.
Trustee Stewart?
Well, I do just want to share real quick that I got an email asking if I was available on for Friday the 6th for a special board meeting, and I had asked, what was so pressing, because we have a board meeting on the 10th, that it couldn't wait. And as far as I know, that there was none until I got a text from Z saying that there was a special board meeting tonight. And then I got a reply from the board president yesterday morning that there was a timely thing. You know, I responded to the email to the board president within minutes of receiving his email, but got no response. And it wasn't, again, as a board member, I should have been made aware of this special board meeting ahead of time, so that I could plan accordingly. So, which all board members should have known what was going on. Also, I do want to make it clear, just so it's out there, security is here for the EAs. The EAs decided not to come, so we didn't have to have security. But when they are here, that is when they are supposed to come to protect our EAs, to make sure that the restraining order is not violated. That is in their favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee LaFrench?
Okay, so I'm happy for Taylor, but I do want to say a couple of things, so I don't want to change the momentum here. But I know that after being board president for 2 years, that just a form of, I guess I would say, like a form of respect for what people are doing as, trustees. I did receive an email for a special board meeting on Friday. It's no hidden secret that I do work kind of far, right? And for the board meeting to change till today and try to get off work and get here. I just think that for me as a board president, that I did ask my board, like, hey, it's 6 o'clock, cool. We know that we have, sometimes people have children to pick up or whatever they may do. But, I do my best to get here on time. My job works with me. I've been here. But I would just think that going forward, that I'm not asking for no special accommodations. I made it here. But just as, anyone else, just to be told in a timely manner and just not, I can make the decisions because I'm the board president. I don't talk to people like that. Have never said things like, oh, well, I'm board president, so, get here if you can. That's just not how we work together if we want to build those relationships among us. I do have something else that I wanted to talk about. That it's interesting, right? When things are written in the newspaper, it's interesting. But I'm aware of the comments that were published in the newspaper regarding me. While I do understand that public comments come with this role, my decisions as a trustee are always guided by what I believe is in the best interest of our students, our families, and this district. I remain focused on my responsibilities and my commitments to serving with integrity, that I have the utmost integrity for LaShawn Left French, that I do not waver from what it is that I do for this district. I do stand and will continue to stand by Dr. Walker because I believe that she is here for the support of our district. I believe in Talion. I don't think that it's okay for people to just say whatever they want to say about people in the newspaper. But, hey, I've been told that, that they can, whether it's true or not. But it doesn't change the fact that today I left my job early to get here on time, flying up the 15 in the Cajon Pass, because this is what I signed on for, and I'll be here next Tuesday, and whatever other Tuesday, or whatever somebody says, let me change it on a Friday to a Tuesday. I don't know if it's done intentionally or what, but I'll do whatever I'm supposed to do in order to support the families, the children, and the community of Adelanto. Thank you.
Thank you. VP Kyer.
All right. So, since we're doing this, I'm just going to do it. I haven't had the opportunity to speak in a couple board meetings due to time measurements and not feeling well at the last one. So I'm just going to do a quick recap. the last time I got to spoke, it was before winter break. I did want to highlight, though, the amazing performances that all of our schools did put on for the winter festivities. I want to thank our PTAs, our teachers, because man, these kids rocked those songs, those dances. It really did fill my heart to see so many so excited, but so proud to stand on that stage and show their parents how hard they worked with their classmates and their teachers. Once again, PTAs, thank you so much. We could not have such beautifully decorated gymnasiums and performances without your hard work, your dedication, and the support to the students at those schools. As we returned to school, I know things were very sluggish, but I do hear that they kicked off very well. A lot of students were excited to be back with their friends, with their teachers, with their staff members, and it is always so encouraging to see so many students happy to come to school, to enjoy the education that they are getting. I do want to go ahead and congratulate Talion for being part of our community for the next 5 years. Thank you for your hard work, your dedication, and your service to our students and our communities as we continue to grow, as more students filter into the future and start becoming part of our society. I will close tonight with a quick comment on the ongoing communication issues that some of us board members have been facing with the district. It's gotten quite exasperating in my own stance, and I speak solely for me. But I do hope moving forward, we don't have as much issue trying to get a special board meeting, get agendas posted, and being able to talk, because I feel that we have spent so much time on the politics, we've spent so much time on the finger pointing, and I guess my bottom line question is, when do we get back to the students? When do we focus on them again? I miss the student performances here in the boardroom where everyone got to come. We had cheerleaders, we had instruments come from George, we had awards where we got to celebrate the successes of our students. And yet, I find myself, board meeting after board meeting, coming to a point where I dread coming because we're more focused on the politics and the finger pointing and the arguments, that I feel that we have all lost focus on what we truly came here to be. And that would be the advocates of the students today and the future tomorrow. I will end tonight by thanking everyone in our community and our audience tonight for being here and advocating for those students as well. Thank you.
Thank you, VP Carr. Let me just begin by stating that I am working on, and I am. Oh, did did I skip Trustee Krause, right? Trustee
Yes.
Krause, I apologize. Please go ahead.
No worries. President Soto, thank you. Since we open it up for board member comments, I appreciate that. I agree with Vice President Kyer that we really need to start focusing on what matters most, and that's our students, our staff, and our families as we move forward. So it's my hope that as we enter February, that seems to be the case. A couple of points that I wanted to bring up is that um, President Soto, we had asked for this agenda item back in December for the December board meeting. Staff pushed it out. Uh, we asked again January 13th. Staff pushed it out. Somehow, mysteriously, our January 27th board meeting had to be canceled because nobody seemed to be able to know how to post the agenda in the district office. So that's why we did not have a January 27th board meeting for the public record. We had to call the special board meeting because there is a timeline, a legal timeline, a 90-day window that we had to approve or deny the charter for Talion. That is why we had to get a special board meeting this evening, because after today, we would have been out of compliance as a district. Yet, even though We had been asking for this agenda item for several board meetings now, and somehow mysteriously it never made it on there. And so I wanted to put that out there in a public record that we should have never waited till the very last day of being in compliance with approving or denying this charter, and yet here we are. So we want to talk about communication. We have had a one-way communication for several months about getting this on the agenda, and for several months it has not mysteriously made it on the agenda. And so I would at some point love to know the reason why staff or the district superintendent did not get it on the agenda when it was asked for. And I have emails that back up everything I'm saying this evening, why it has not been there. And I also wanted to dignify my comment. The superintendent has never stepped foot on a Talion facility. So if she wants to not dignify my comment, she's more than welcome to. But I challenge her to prove that she has stepped foot on a Talion facility or even toward one or talk to their staff, students, and families. So before somebody throws shade at me and makes my comment undignified, I do speak of facts and I speak with evidence on everything that I have ever brought before the board and before the public. And with that, I shall end my comments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kraus. I'll just start by saying that I'm dedicated to working, and I'm working on and dedicated to improving communication on my end. On Monday, yesterday, on I apologize. Okay. So on Monday, February 2nd, which is yesterday, I sent out an email at 8:41 a.m. notifying the board that I need to call a special meeting to the point of what Trustee Kraus was just explaining to the public. We have to have a special meeting. The petition deadline is soon. That's it. And so that's just to address the communication part. I am working on it. I'm dedicated to working on communication. The other thing that I want to share with the public, since we want to do this, as VP Kyer suggested, I really want you guys to um, take note of what is happening. I mean, the comments that are being thrown at by colleagues to other colleagues, question the merit of that. We just got here versus colleagues. This new recomposed board. We're freshmen. We're new, and yet we have a veteran colleagues who choose to say these things behind the dais. When VP Kyer and I were in the minority, we did not act, nor did we behave in this manner. This is not good governance. This is not effective governance. There is a process that we have when there are concerns. You come to the board president, you work it out. No, and I've said it before, I'm not a dictator. I do have a legal responsibility and obligation as board president. That doesn't mean I act or will choose to behave like a dictator. And we want to talk about respect. It goes both ways. Respect goes both ways. And I think that's where we're losing that connection, is that we're talking about the board respecting others, but what about the lack of respect that the board is receiving? You don't think that our age is why we're being disrespected? Maybe. But this is and furthermore, since this is what we want to do, I would just highly encourage you to read the San Bernardino Sentinel article. Because I just think that, like, come on, let's just be real. Like, we know what is happening, and yet we choose to try and fight behind the dais when governance, best governance, this is coming from a freshman board member, a new board president, and yet this is how we choose to move forward. This doesn't make sense. It's why we have a recomposed board. We're trying to refocus on kids. And yet, behind the scenes, people want to pull strings, people want to play politics, and it's frustrating as board president when you keep getting the lack of support from your colleagues. And that was said hypocritically in the past when we had a former board president as well. So I have my phone number public. You guys can reach out. I told you where to look if you're interested. It's a pretty interesting article. But that's where the board is at. You know, that's where we're at. So that's all my comments. We're going to move on to adjournment. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Kyer, I second.
Trustee Kraus?
Kraus, aye.
Trustee VP Kyer?
Kyer, I.
Trustee LaFrench?
LaFrench, aye.
Trustee Stewart?
Stewart, aye.
Soto, aye. The time is 7:39. We are adjourned. We'll see you next week. Have a good evening.
Congratulations.